Hey man, is this your wife's? Found it in the glove box. You two are into some wild stuff? The kid at the car wash held up a fiery red lace thong, a smirk playing on his lips. A roar filled my ears. The size was hers, but the style. It was absolutely nothing she would ever wear. Does anyone else bring this car in to get washed? I asked, my voice tight. Yeah, some real jack dude has been bringing in lately. Got a scorpion tattoo on his left arm. A scorpion tattoo? Chloe's personal trainer, Shane Peterson. I'd even joked with her once, telling her to be careful he didn't get his head turned by one of his clients. Turns out, what the hell are you doing? I roared, kicking open the hotel room door. Chloe and Shane. Buck naked. My name is Leo Miller. I've been on a business trip for 2 weeks and couldn't wait to get home. I came back a day early, hoping to surprise my wife, Chloe. But when I pushed open the door, I wasn't greeted by her familiar smile. Just an empty apartment and the cloying scent of strange perfume. It was cheap and sweet, an irritating, desperate kind of scent. A note was sitting on the dining table. Honey, went to my girlfriend's place. Be back tonight. The handwriting was sloppy, nothing like Chloe's usual neat cursive. It looked like it had been scribbled in a hurry. A knot formed in my stomach. A bad feeling. I sank onto the couch and lit a cigarette, exhaling a frustrated cloud of smoke. Chloe's car keys were on the coffee table. The white BMW I'd bought her for her 30th birthday. She babied that thing, agonizing over the smallest scratch. Why would she leave the keys for me today? I decided to get the car washed just to get some air. As soon as I started the engine, a stronger, fouler scent hit me. It wasn't the light rose perfume Chloe usually wore. This was more aggressive, some kind of men's cologne. The smell made my heart pound, made it hard to breathe. I rolled down the windows, letting the wind rush in, trying to blow away the suffocating odor. I pulled into our usual spot, handed the keys to the young attendant, and went to wait in the lounge. I was scrolling aimlessly through my phone when the kid, Ricky, walked over, holding that lace thong with a sly grin. Hey man, is this your wife's? Found it in the glove box. You two are into some wild stuff, huh? My head swam. It felt like someone had hit me with a sledgehammer. The thong, the fiery red color, the overtly sexual design. It didn't look like anything Chloe owned. But the size, it was hers. Around me, she always wore conservative cotton underwear. When hell did she buy lingerie like this? A hot rage flared up inside me, burning through my guts. I forced it down, took the thong from him, and stuffed it in my pocket. Ahem. Has anyone else been driving this car here lately? I tried to keep my voice even. Ricky, oblivious, polished his glasses. Yeah, some real jacked dude has been bringing in a lot. Good-looking guy. I always just figured he was your wife's brother or something. Jack dude? Brother? Sounded real friendly. My fists clenched so tight my knuckles cracked. My nails dug into my palms. What? What does this guy look like? Do you remember? Sure do. That build, man, you can tell he lifts. He's got a scorpion tattoo on his left arm. Pretty sick. Scorpion tattoo. An explosion went off in my head. Chloe's personal trainer, Shane Peterson, had a scorpion tattoo on his left arm. I remember her bragging about him once, saying he was the top trainer at her gym, that all the female clients were fighting to get a session with him. I joked with her then, told her to be careful he didn't get his head turned by one of his clients. I never imagined the one doing the turning would be my own wife. I took a deep breath, pulled a few $100 bills from my wallet, and handed them to Ricky. Listen, man, if this car comes in again, keep an eye out. Let me know if you see anything, okay? Ricky's face lit up as he pocketed the cash. You got it, boss. Count on me. Back at the apartment, I turned into a detective, searching every corner I might have overlooked. I went through Chloe's closet, flipping through familiar clothes. Something was missing. Several sets of her favorite lingerie, the ones I thought brought out her best features, were gone. Where were they? Hidden away? Or worn for a date with another man? On her vanity, a bottle of men's cologne I didn't recognize. Calvin Klein, the same piercing scent I'd smelled in the car. The bottle sat there like a silent mockery, a reminder that another man's presence had invaded my home. In the bathroom, 2 damp towels hung side by side, like a pair of guilty lovers. One was pink, Chloe's. The other was blue. Whose was it? I picked up the blue towel and brought it to my nose. The faint smell of body wash, mixed with that same CK cologne. The scent was a needle, stabbing me straight through the heart. Chloe came home that evening. She was wearing heavy makeup, a stark contrast to her usual understated style. Tonight, she was beautiful in a loud, deliberate way. A tight dress clung to her body, outlining every curve in a way that was meant to be tempting. All I felt was disgust. Did you have fun at your friend's place? I asked, forcing my tone to sound casual, normal. It was fine, she said, her eyes darting away, unable to meet mine. That flicker of panic, that evasion, was all the confirmation I needed. I watched her, fighting to keep the rage from boiling over. How long was she going to keep lying to me? While Chloe was in the shower, I picked up her phone. It unlocked with the same password it always had. My birthday. In her iMessage, a contact named Shane with a flex bicep for a profile picture jumped out at me. I opened the chat log. The explicit messages were like 1,000 tiny knives, gutting me from the inside out. Baby, I miss you. Same place tonight. So glad your husband's out of town. Shane? Shane Peterson. I took screenshots, saving the evidence. Every single one was proof of Chloe's betrayal. I put the phone back where I found it and sat on the couch, lighting another cigarette. Through the hazy smoke, my heart grew colder and colder. Chloe came out of the bathroom, wearing a silk nightgown, so thin it was practically transparent, her skin glowing underneath. She walked over to me, tried to put her arms around me. I pushed her away. Who is Shane? I threw her phone onto the coffee table in front of her. My voice was ice, devoid of any emotion. Her face went white, her body trembling slightly. He's just a friend. She was still trying to lie. Just a friend? I let out a cold, sharp laugh. I reached into my pocket, pulled out the red lace thong, and threw it in her face. Did your friend give you this, too? The thong hit her like a slap. She collapsed onto the floor, buried her face in her hands, and started to sob. Leo, I'm sorry. It was a mistake. A mistake? Chloe, do you think I'm an idiot? I stood over her, my eyes burning with disappointment and fury. How long has it been going on with this Shane guy? Not long. Not long? Not long enough for you to even change your underwear before coming home. I yelled. She stopped talking, just kept crying. The sound grated on my nerves. I decided it was time to fight back. I would not tolerate this betrayal. I composed myself and told Chloe I had to leave for another business trip, effective immediately. I booked a flight to another city and sent her a screenshot of the confirmation. I saw a flicker of relief, maybe even excitement, in her eyes. My heart turned to stone. The show had to be perfect. In reality, I called a few of my closest friends. I need you guys to watch someone for me, I said, my voice low. These are the guys I grew up with, the kind of friends who would do anything for you. Who is it? Who dared to mess with Leo Miller? It was Dave, his voice already laced with anger. My wife, I choked out, the words like swallowing glass. The line went silent for a moment. My friends didn't ask any more questions. They just said, don't worry, we got your back. The next day, I watched from a hidden spot as Chloe got ready. She put on a red dress I'd never seen before, so vibrant it was almost obscene. Before leaving, she stood in front of the mirror, carefully applying her lipstick. She looked like she was heading to a gala, a grand rendezvous. I tailed her, keeping my distance. She drove to a coffee shop and parked. I saw Shane was already waiting inside. The second they saw each other, they wrapped their arms around each other, not caring who saw. Shane whispered something in her ear, and Chloe laughed, throwing her head back. Watching them, my fury surged. I squeezed the steering wheel until my knuckles were white. I fought back the urge to storm in there and just kept watching. They left the coffee shop and got in her car together. Their destination, the Ritz-Carlton, a 5-star hotel. How nice for them. I sent the location to my friends. It's on. I had already looked up Chloe's personal information and used it to have the front desk make me a spare key card. It felt cold in my hand, like the blade of a knife. I met my friends and we went up to the room. I took a deep breath and swiped the card. The scene inside was sickening. Chloe and Shane were tangled together on the bed, naked. The air was thick with the smell of sex. It made me want to vomit. What the hell are you doing? I roared, storming in. Shane, terrified, scrambled to get off the bed. I grabbed him before he could move, my fist connecting hard with his face. You son of a bitch. You dare touch my wife. Shane cried out, crumpling to the floor. My friends rushed in, helping me pin him down. Leo, listen to me. I can explain. Chloe screamed, pulling a sheet around herself. Explain? I didn't need an explanation. I just wanted to destroy these two animals. I pulled out my phone and started snapping pictures, taking videos. Evidence. I was going to ruin them, crucify them publicly so they could never recover. After I had what I needed, I walked over to Chloe and slapped her hard across the face again and again. You whore, how could you do this to me? She begged and pleaded, her voice a shrill cry. Leo, I'm sorry. I really know I was wrong. Please just forgive me this one time. Forgive her? I looked at her tear-streaked face and felt nothing. Not a shred of pity. When she was betraying me, did she ever think about forgiving me? Shane was a bloody mess, kneeling on the floor, bowing his head over and over. Leo, man, I'm sorry. I'll never do it again. Please, just let me go. I kicked him away. Let you go? You don't deserve it. I pointed a finger at Chloe's face, my voice deadly calm. Listen to me, you bitch. We are done. I will make sure everyone knows what you are. and you will walk away from this with nothing." Chloe collapsed in a heap, sobbing uncontrollably. Shane was shaking, paralyzed with fear. I looked down at them, my expression cold as ice. "This is just the beginning. I'm gonna make you both pay." I took out my phone and opened my messaging app. My fingers flew across the screen, finding the parent-teacher group chats and the faculty forums for the school where Chloe taught. I took a deep breath and, using an anonymous account, sent in the most damning photos and videos. The caption was short and powerful. "This is the good teacher, Chloe Davis. Send." Then I closed the app and turned off my phone. It felt like I just dropped a bomb. I lit a cigarette and waited for the storm to hit. It didn't take long. My phone started vibrating uncontrollably. Texts, calls, notifications, they came in like a tidal wave. I watched it happen, feeling nothing. I knew Chloe's life as she knew it was over. First, it was the school administration. Call after call. Their tone shifted from shock and disbelief to stern condemnation. Then came her colleagues, some who were friends, some who never liked her. A few expressed sympathy, but most were gloating. And then the parents. Their fury practically burned through the phone screen. How can someone like her be a teacher? A complete lack of morals. She needs to be fired now. We demand an explanation. The voices merged into a massive flood, drowning Chloe completely. I could almost picture her, cornered and desperate. But I didn't feel sorry for her. She brought all of this on herself. Chloe's parents called, too. They had always been kind to me, treating me like their own son. But this time, they screamed into the phone, cursing Chloe for being shameless, for dragging their family name through the mud. Listening to them, I felt a strange mix of emotions. I understood their anger and felt for them. But there was nothing I could do. All I could do was stay silent. "You want excitement, Chloe? Here, a bigger thrill than you could ever imagine. Let's see how you like the taste of being utterly ruined." I wasn't done with Shane, either. I sent his photos and videos to several large fitness community groups online. These groups were full of my friends and their friends. We were all into fitness. It was a tight-knit circle. The moment the post went up, the groups exploded. "This piece of shit seduces other men's wives. No goddamn shame. We have to expose him. Make sure he can never work in this industry again." The pressure mounted quickly. Shane's gym fired him. His reputation in the fitness world was trashed. I heard he was too scared to even leave his house, terrified of being recognized. That's the price for betraying me. Chloe called me, crying. Her voice was raw, broken. "Leo, I was wrong. I know I was wrong. Please forgive me. It was a moment of weakness. I'll never do it again. Please, for the years we had together, just give me one more chance." I listened to her sob story without a flicker of emotion. I hung up and blocked her number, her social media, everything. Forgive her? Never. Some mistakes can't be undone. I picked up my phone and made another call. "Hello, Mr. Harrison, it's Leo Miller. I have a situation I need your help with." "Yes, a divorce. I want her to leave with nothing but the clothes on her back, and I want damages for emotional distress. Evidence? Don't worry. I have more than enough." "Great. I'll see you tomorrow." I ended the call, my gaze hard and determined. I would use the law to defend my dignity and protect my assets. I was going to make Chloe pay the full price for her betrayal. The next day, I met Mr. Harrison at his firm. I gave him everything, the evidence of Chloe's affair and the prenuptial agreement we had signed. Harrison was one of the best divorce attorneys in the city, a real shark. He reviewed the materials I provided, a confident smile spreading across his face. "Mr. Miller, don't you worry. This case is a slam dunk. I'll do everything in my power to get you the best possible outcome." I nodded, thanking him. I trusted his expertise, and I trusted the law to be on my side. In the courtroom, the air was so thick with tension you could cut it with a knife. I sat at the plaintiff's table, looking across at Chloe. She was once the love of my life. Now, we were adversaries in a court of law. The judge's voice boomed. "This court is now in session. The plaintiff may state his petition." Mr. Harrison stood, his voice clear and strong. "My client, Leo Miller, petitions for the dissolution of his marriage to the defendant, Chloe Davis, and for the equitable distribution of marital assets. Furthermore, given the defendant's adulterous behavior during the marriage, which has caused severe emotional distress to my client, we are seeking $500,000 in punitive damages." "Defendant, do you have a response?" the judge asked, turning to Chloe. Her lawyer stood up, a middle-aged man with glasses who looked sharp. He pushed them up his nose and spoke slowly. "Your Honor, my client concedes that the marriage has irretrievably broken down and agrees to the divorce. However, we object to the plaintiff's proposed asset division and the claim for punitive damages." "Oh, on what grounds?" "First, regarding asset division. We contend that the prenuptial agreement provided by the plaintiff is flawed and cannot be considered the sole basis for dividing marital property. I scoffed. This woman, she just wouldn't give up. Mr. Harrison was ready. He pulled a document from his briefcase and handed it to the judge. Your Honor, this is the prenuptial agreement, willingly signed by both my client and the defendant prior to their marriage. It was legally notarized and is fully binding. The agreement clearly states that all premarital assets remain the sole property of their original owner, and marital assets are to be divided according to. Harrison read through the agreement, clause by clause. Each word was another nail in Chloe's coffin. The house, the cars, the savings. Everything I'd worked my ass off for over the years was mine. She wasn't getting a dime. Chloe's lawyer tried to argue that she had sacrificed her career to be a homemaker, that she had contributed to the family. I couldn't stop myself from cutting him off. She quit her job because she said it was too stressful and she wanted an easy life. I never forced her. And a homemaker? Did she fulfill the duties of a wife? She spent her days shopping, at the spa, or out with her deadbeat friends. Did she ever once think about what our family needed? My voice rose, my anger spilling over. For all these years, I thought she was a gentle, supportive wife. I never realized she was just a vapid, cheating gold digger. I was such a blind fool. Chloe kept her head down, refusing to look at me. Her lawyer was speechless. Order. The judge banged his gavel. The parties will submit their evidence. Mr. Harrison presented the photos, the videos, the text messages, all of it. Each piece of evidence was a bombshell that detonated in the silent courtroom. The ugly truth about Chloe and Shane was laid bare for all to see. Chloe's face turned from red to white. She probably never thought I'd bring this stuff to court. She certainly never thought I'd be this ruthless, that I'd give her no quarter. Her lawyer was stunned, too. He'd probably never seen a case with such irrefutable proof of infidelity. Defendant, do you have anything else to say? The judge asked her. Chloe hung her head silent. Her lawyer had given up the fight. This court is in recess. The judgment will be delivered at a later date, the judge announced, banging his gavel one last time. The trial was over. I walked out of the courthouse. The sun was bright, and I had to shield my eyes. But inside, I felt a sense of profound relief, of victory. I knew I had won. Chloe would get nothing. She would pay dearly for what she did. I made a few calls to media contacts I knew. Hey, Alex. It's Leo Miller. Yeah, I need a small favor. I'm getting a divorce. Wife cheated on me. Photos, videos, I've got all. That's right. I want to expose her. Great. Thanks, Alex. I hung up, a cold smile on my face. You always wanted to be famous, Chloe. Well, here's your chance. Before long, several online tabloids and local news blogs ran the story of Chloe's affair. The headlines were more sensational than I could have hoped for. Local teacher's steamy affair with personal trainer exposed. Moral collapse. Teacher fired after hotel room. Tryst goes viral. Parents outraged. Marriage implodes over cheating scandal. Husband takes wife to the cleaners. The stories blew up. Public opinion was swift and brutal. Chloe became a social pariah, reviled by everyone. The school, buckling under the pressure, fired her. Her parents disowned her. She was ruined, with no one left to turn to. And she deserved every bit of it. A few days later, the judge's ruling came down. Just as I'd expected, Chloe walked away with nothing. After leaving my old job, I threw myself completely into my new D2C venture. With a quality product and the network I'd built over the years, I found a market for it quickly. In just a few months, sales broke 7 figures. I was working around the clock, but I loved it. The sense of purpose helped me forget the pain Chloe had caused. The project grew so fast that we soon secured an angel investment round. I took the core team out to a celebratory dinner. After a few drinks, everyone was feeling good. Dave clapped me on the shoulder. Leo, you son of a gun. Who knew you had this in you? I just smiled. I knew, deep down, that if it weren't for Chloe's betrayal, I'd probably still be stuck in that dead-end purchasing manager job. In a twisted way, I almost had her to thank. Of course, that was a thought I'd keep to myself. With the company on solid ground, I started attending industry conferences, partly to network and partly to learn. It was at one of these events that I met Sophia Chun. She was a manager at a venture capital firm, the epitome of a corporate professional. A tailored business suit highlighted her sharp, confident demeanor. She was tall, with impeccable taste, and stood out in the crowd. As a rising entrepreneur, I was invited to speak on a panel about my startup journey. Sophia was sitting in the front row, listening intently. She nodded occasionally, her expression one of genuine appreciation. After my talk, as I stepped off the stage, Sophia approached me and handed me her card. Mr. Miller, hello. I'm Sophia Chun with Voyager Capital. Her voice was pleasant, like a clear mountain stream. I'm very impressed with your project. Would you be open to connecting? I was a little surprised, but politely exchanged information with her. After that, Sophia reached out frequently to ask about the company's progress. She wasn't just interested in the business. She offered a lot of insightful professional advice. Over time, we became close. I discovered that Sophia wasn't just beautiful and brilliant. She was also kind and gentle. Being with her felt easy, comfortable. She was like a ray of sunshine that had finally broken through the gray gloom of my life. I heard about Chloe and Shane through friends. Their lives were a wreck. After being fired, Chloe couldn't find another job. She was used to spending lavishly, and with no income, she had to rely on handouts from what was left of her family. I heard she just locked herself in her apartment all day, too ashamed to go out and face the world. Shane was doing even worse. He lost his job and was drowning in debt. The female clients who used to flock to him now avoided him like the plague. He couldn't even set foot in a gym without risking being recognized. The story was that he and Chloe fought constantly, blaming each other for their downfall. He'd call her reckless. She'd call him useless. The passionate lovers were now just two miserable people who couldn't wait to tear each other apart. Hearing all this, I felt nothing. Their fate was a product of their own choices. I wasn't going to pity them, and I certainly wasn't going to gloat. I was focused on living my own life. My relationship with Sophia continued to grow. We went out for dinner, saw movies, walked through the city. She would burst out laughing at my dumb jokes and get genuinely excited about my small victories at work. When I worked late, she'd be there with a hot cup of coffee. When I hit a snag, she'd listen patiently and help me think it through. I felt like I was falling in love again. It was a warm, wonderful feeling. At our company's annual holiday party, I asked Sophia to be my date. She happily accepted. She wore a pale blue evening gown that night, looking elegant and radiant. I took her arm and walked into the ballroom. My male colleagues couldn't hide their envy. "Leo, your girlfriend is gorgeous. You're a lucky man, boss." I smiled, feeling a quiet pride swell in my chest. Sophia was my good fortune. Meanwhile, Chloe and Shane were struggling to find any work at all. A friend even saw them at a grocery store, physically fighting over a free sample. Pathetic. But that had nothing to do with me anymore. Standing at the floor-to-ceiling window of my high-rise apartment, I looked out at the Chicago skyline. A million lights glittered across the city. Sophia came up behind me, resting her head gently on my shoulder. I wrapped an arm around her waist, feeling her warmth. A wave of emotion washed over me. I was grateful for the past, for everything that had forced me to grow, and I was grateful for the future, for the hope it now held. My life was just beginning. Chloe? Shane? They were nothing more than a couple of clowns I'd once passed on the road.